Morning all, and welcome back to WTF. It is very early in the morning, 23 minutes past 5, and I've had one of those mornings where I get up really early to play around with a few things in the shack, possibly go on the radio. And we recently had an SK sale of a friend of ours who recently deceased, and we picked up loads of old gear, including this thing that's on the bench here, which, if I can move out of the way, you can see, which is an HRO receiver, and I've just been working on it, yeah, it seems to work alright, but I thought I'd quickly show you what I've been doing with this. We've got a whole load of vintage equipment from Brian JW for KYT, who unfortunately passed away not that long ago, and we've been helping to clear out some of his old radio gear. And Brian was a member of VMARS, and he actually collected quite a bit of vintage equipment, including this receiver. Anyhow, I've got it to work, and I've just been playing around with it, so I'll quickly show you what I've been doing with it. Not much. I didn't need much work on it. It's in quite nice condition, so let's take a quick closer look. So this is an HRO MX, and these receivers, if you ever go to old timer hams, you always find one of these sort of knocking about in various states of disrepair, but this one actually is in quite good nick. I'm not that familiar with these receivers. I mean, this is the first time I've owned one, and I don't know what it is. I'm sort of warming to it quite well. It's got a very simple front panel, and I don't know what it is. It's the way it's been built, and it's got this nice sort of lacquered, hammered black finish to it, which is quite typical of a lot of World War II stuff. I think this is actually World War II vintage, and its simplicity is actually quite pleasant, I would say, in terms of using it. So these receivers, they've got, just to show you the front panel, you've got just basic stuff here. The tuning is with this knob here. You've got the usual things: AF gain, that's the BFO, the RF gain, that's a phasing unit. I think it's a crystal based phasing unit, just to help with resolving signals, and then you've got sensitivity there. It might be the other way around actually in terms of the filter, but anyhow, these receivers, the way they work, you've got these plug-in coils here which cover all the different bands, and when I first saw this, and I thought, well, how do you figure out, where you are in terms of frequency? Well, what you have to do is you have to refer to this chart, which is on each of these coil packs. And I'm quite fortunate because somebody's actually written it all down there for me. And this knob has all these numbers here. So as you turn this, those little numbers change as you turn the dial. And it's actually quite easy to use, and it's actually quite selective. I thought this thing would be really clunky because I thought that was the only way of tuning it. And if we look inside, it's got that big variable capacitor. You can see there is a slow motion drive on there, and it does work quite well. And this HRO is actually in quite nice condition. You can see all the valves there. These are really old school vacuum tubes, and it looks very nice. Anyhow, I'll just show you the underneath the rig, and I'll show you what I've done, which isn't, I've basically put some new capacitors in. It worked initially when I plugged it in, and then I moved it over to a shelf, and as you do, it suddenly stopped working, which was a bit of a pain in the neck. So I thought to myself, well, it must be, it sounded like a dodgy capacitor. So anyway, I've replaced a whole load of them. I'll just show you quickly. So this is the underside of the HRO, and as you can see, somebody else has been here before and replaced quite a few of the components. You can see those white polypropylene capacitors, which have been replaced. And I've actually replaced some of the waxies. There was, when this thing stopped working, it was working and it stopped. I applied the HT and then suddenly it was sort of fizzling around and making all sorts of funny noises. And I think the problem was some of these waxies. And there's one, I can quickly show you, this one here was looking in a bit of a sorry state, and I think it might have been a bit leaky, so I took the opportunity of not only replacing that one but all the others at the same time. But I think somebody's replaced, there's an electrolytic, somebody's put that new electrolytic across that one there. Oops, and then there's another one down there which has had similar treatment. And there's one or two modern looking resistors there. There's one there. So a resistor there is obviously been replaced. But I did check some of these resistors and they seem to be intolerant. So it does work, and I'll quickly fire it up. And the band's quite lively at the moment. I've got it on for 80 meters. There's quite a few stations on there, so we'll just show you how it works. So I think we're just about ready to switch it on. It's got its own little power supply there, and I've got it plugged into the aerial. So what we'll do is we'll switch it on here. Okay, you can hear the transformers, the lights coming on. I think you have to wait a little bit for the heaters to warm up, like you do with any old valve equipment. Just give it a few seconds, and then what we're going to do is switch the HT on by this button here. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got something anyway. Sounds quite good. Just turn the RF gain up a bit. Single sideband.
Nice to hear you. Thank you for the call. Hope you're well. You sounded a
That's
good
actually
signal.
Dave. I know this
my
chap.
name is Dave.
I've worked him a few times.
Anyway, how you doing? N3 LRW.
This is actually.
GW3 X-ray Hotel.
Let's turn it down a bit. So this is about 3.8 megahertz, and we're on the DX end of 80 meters, and you can hear Dave calling, and there's a station from the States who's replied to him. So let's have a quick listen.
My name is Tony. Like Tango, Oscar, November, Yankee. Tango, Oscar, November, Yankee. QSL? Yeah, all okay, Tony. Fine, yes. Yes, you're a nice signal. You 5 and 9 also. I had an email from a pal of mine out west, and he said it was quite the noise level was quite low in the States this morning. So maybe you'll find it the same. It's very quiet over here. Mind you, it's raining outside, so that quite often helps for the noise. Anyway, running, I'm using a full square here and a few hundred watts also.
We're also rigged up to the full square as well. That's one of the reasons why we can hear this American station quite easily.
Okay, Dave, very good. I copy that you're using a full square. Here, I don't have that kind of room. Just a small city line. My location is, as I said, in the state of Maryland, near the city of Baltimore. And it's just a small city lot. Somebody about 500 watts into a short vertical. A short vertical. It's an 8-wave, not a quarter wave.
We'll just tune around a little bit.
Mai andato. No, ho fatto un po' di calcio, però la mia caccia era molto più difficile di quella che si fa con il fucile. La caccia fatta con la macchina fotografica e l'obiettivo. Questa è molto più dura perché non vanno in selvatici così. Certe volte giri e non becchi nulla assolutamente. Magari mi vedi, ma non in condizioni tali da scattare una buona foto. La caccia fotografica è decisamente più dura della caccia armata. Bisognerebbe avere anche più mezzi. Io avevo i mezzi che potevo 20,000 and understand
This guy's actually in New Mexico, which is pretty far away.
I'm on the older brother of your radio. I'm on the Fox Tango 1000 Delta. Driving a monobander amplifier, a pair of 3500s, pair of Primax 3500Cs. It's a monobander for 75 and 80. And we're right at 1500 watts to the full-size quarter-wave vertical. Full-size quarter-wave vertical with 11,000 feet of wire for ground radios. I have 11,000 feet of wire for ground radios, so that's what's going on here. Local time range in New Mexico is 10:43 p.m. 10:43 p.m. on Sunday, and conditions are perfect. Some of the best conditions so far for the winter DX season, Rick. 015 Whiskey Oscar. Hopefully others will join us. I put myself on a spot. I put myself on a DX cluster, Rick. I'm going to put you on there as well on DX Watch.
Well, there we go. I think that's probably a good demonstration of the HRO, which is proving pretty good, actually. Listening to some DX from New Mexico on 80 meters, using my Foursquare and a World War II receiver. What could be better? Anyway, see you in the next video. All the best from the WTF.